Kunle wakes before the first call to prayer. The boys' quarters behind the mansion are hot and cramped, smelling of kerosene and yesterday's stew, but the early silence feels gentle. It reminds him of his village, where his mother used to say that even stubborn goats respected morning breeze. He folds his thin blanket, slips into cracked slippers, and squeezes into the tiny bathroom. The tap coughs twice before giving a reluctant stream of water. He splashes his face, looks at himself in the spotted mirror and murmurs, "Today will be better. He has got this." The words are small armor against another long day of "yes, sir," and "sorry, ma." By 6 he is in the main house, polishing the long dining table until the wood shines like still water. Outside, Danfo buses argue on the road, horns shouting over hawkers calling bread, gala, pure water. A generator grumbles awake somewhere in the compound. Kunle moves quickly. Olga likes everything ready before 7. Lateness in this house walks with shouting. While he lays out the cutlery, the big television in the corner blinks on. Someone forgot to turn it off properly. A bright logo fills the screen, followed by a jingle he knows too well. "Hello guys, welcome to African Billionaires, where folktales meet fortune, mystery, and morals. Like, subscribe, share, and tell us where you are watching from." Kunle's mouth softens into a brief smile. He loves that channel. Whenever the cook leaves it playing, he steals quick glances at stories of drivers, market women, and maids whose lives twist in dramatic ways. Some endings are sweet, some painful, but all repeat the same quiet promise: small people can carry loud destinies. Today's opening line hooks him. "Sometimes," the narrator continues, "what looks like blessing is just a smarter cage." He pauses with a spoon in midair. The sentence feels heavy, but Madam's voice is already rising upstairs and the cook is calling his name from the kitchen, so he lets the thought slip into the back of his mind and keeps working. Houseboys do not have time to sit down and analyze YouTube proverbs. Soon the mansion is fully awake. Perfume, ringing phones, and half-finished complaints float down the staircase with Madam. One of the teenage children drags a suitcase that probably costs more than his mother's entire stock of rice and beans. Kunle drops his eyes and becomes part of the furniture again, moving from bell to door to corridor, a silent shadow keeping rich people comfortable. Near noon, the head cook presses a tray of sliced fruit and chilled water into his hands. "Take this to Olga in the study," she says, "and shine your eye well. No mistake today." Kunle nods. The Faceless Billionaire is in. Staff call him that because no one ever sees his face clearly in pictures. In framed newspapers along the hallway, he is always turned slightly away or hidden in glare or blurred as if the camera lost courage. Some say he is simply careful. Others say it is spiritual matter. Kunle has never looked straight at him. He knows only the voice, low, calm, the kind that makes proud men answer, "Yes, sir," even when they plan to argue. At the study door, he balances the tray and knocks twice. "Come in," the voice says. The room smells of leather, paper, and cool cologne. Sunlight falls in neat strips across shelves and carpet. The billionaire stands at the wide window, hands clasped behind his back, watching Lagos spread out in concrete and haze. In the glass, his reflection is only a dark outline. Light erases his features and makes him look like a shadow wearing an expensive suit. Kunle sets the tray carefully on the table and starts to back toward the door. "What is his name?" the billionaire asks. Kunle stops. Very few people in this house remember. "Kunle, sir," he says. "Kunle," the man repeats as if tasting the word. "From where?" "From Aloran side, sir, but he grew in Lagos village corner. His mother used to call their crowded slum village inside city, so it would hurt less. Remembering it makes his mouth twitch." A brief amused sound leaves the shadow by the window. "Village inside city, he likes that." The man turns slightly. Kunle catches a strong jaw and a curve of mouth, nothing more. "How long has he worked here?" "Almost 3 years, sir." "And school?" He stopped after SS1, sir. Money finished when his father died. Silence settles for a moment. Outside, a siren rises and fades. The billionaire rests his fingers on the back of a chair. He works hard, the man says. The cook says he never steals meat from the pot. Kunle's lips curve. If he steals, sir, his mother will flog him from heaven. This time the billionaire laughs, short and surprised. Something in Kunle's shoulders relaxes. The room feels less sharp around the edges. He watches African Billionaire, the man observes. It sounds like confirmation, not a question. Yes, sir, when Madam is not around. He likes stories. Yes, sir, very much. Good stories stretch the mind. Sit. Sir, Kunle blurts. Sit, the man repeats, pointing at the chair opposite his desk. He looks like he has been standing since he was born. A small, embarrassed laugh escapes Kunle. He obeys, perching on the edge of the chair, hands flat on his knees. No one invites houseboys to sit in this room. Even the senior driver waits at the door. The billionaire moves behind the desk. Half his body stays in shadow. On the table lies a slim tablet and a file. He opens the file. Kunle sees his own name printed at the top in neat letters. Age 17, the man reads. No major health issues. Mother, food seller. Younger sister, Tati, JSS2, very strong in mathematics. Kunle stares. Sir, how does he know all that? He likes accurate information, the billionaire replies. He runs businesses, not guessing competitions. He closes the file and folds his hands. Kunle can feel the moment thickening like air before rain. Somewhere outside, a generator hums, the same note he has heard since he first came to the city. Inside this room, something new is warming up, slow and bright, and he does not yet know whether it is sunrise or fire. Outside, the day keeps moving, quietly rearranging his life already, without permission. The story pauses here, with a file closed on a rich man's table and a young houseboy staring at information he never imagined anyone cared enough to collect. On the surface, the scene looks simple. An employer finally notices a quiet worker. Underneath, a pattern is forming, one that many hearts will recognize even if their clothes and streets are different. When someone like Kunle grows up between zinc roofs and muddy shortcuts, attention from power feels like sun after long rain. A person in his position is used to being invisible, used to people stepping past as if he is part of the gate. So when a voice that controls salaries, houses, and destinies suddenly calls his name correctly, remembers his sister's class and jokes about his mother, something inside him stands up straighter. That reaction is not weakness, it is human. Every heart longs to be seen. Yet attention from power is never empty. It arrives carrying plans. Sometimes the plan is honest, to lift, mentor, sponsor. Sometimes the plan is twisted, to use, test, or control. The hard lesson many people learn too late is that kindness and strategy can wear the same smile. That is why the warning hidden inside African Billionaire's opening line matters. What looks like blessing can be a smarter cage. Here, a billionaire knows details that Kunle never shared. He has names, ages, school records, even comments about character. On one hand, it is impressive. A leader who gathers facts before making decisions often runs things well. On the other hand, the weight of that knowledge lies entirely on one side of the table. Kunle does not have a file on the billionaire. He does not know what the man was like in secondary school, how he treats people when cameras are off, or why he avoids showing his face. Power is lopsided, and lopsided power demands wisdom. The moral beginning to emerge is simple. Before a person celebrates being chosen, it is worth asking, chosen for what? A houseboy can be chosen for a scholarship, for a job, for adoption, even for honest love. He can also be chosen for an experiment, a publicity story, or a role in someone else's private drama. A gift is rarely just a gift. It normally comes with expectations, spoken or silent, that reveal themselves later. This does not mean a person must live suspicious of every open door. Suspicion alone becomes its own prison. Instead, the story encourages a balance between gratitude and questions. Gratitude keeps a heart soft. Questions keep a mind awake. Joined together, they allow someone like Kunle to step into opportunity without abandoning the wisdom poverty has already carved into his bones. There is also a message for those who grew in tight compounds and noisy streets, where neighbors fight over water and mock anyone they think is forming big man. When such a person walks into marble floors and quiet air conditioning, the temptation is to believe money and goodness always travel together. Yet experience around the world proves otherwise. A rich person can be kind, broken, lonely, or cruel, sometimes all in the same afternoon. Respect is fine. Worship is dangerous. The billionaire's small jokes and soft chuckle feel comforting. They may even be real. But the important question is not whether he laughs. It is what he plans to do with the huge gap between his power and Kunle's need. Right now he holds money, documents, and choice. Kunle holds only habits, hope, and a mother's prayers. In such a gap, caution is not disrespect. Caution is self-respect. There is comfort here for anyone who has already said yes to the wrong gift. Many people listening to stories like this remember a scholarship, job, relationship, or contract that looked golden at the beginning and later began to squeeze their lungs. Maybe the help came with manipulation. Maybe the opportunity demanded total silence about abuse. Maybe love arrived wrapped in control. Looking back, such people often wish they had noticed the signs earlier. This story leans toward those memories and whispers that regret does not have to be the final chapter. Painful experience can turn into wisdom that guards the next decision. The narrator's cheerful invitation to like, subscribe, share, and comment is more than routine. It quietly reminds every listener that he or she is part of a larger circle of learners. Somewhere else, in another city or small town, another person is also wondering whether a generous offer is door or trap. Stories help hearts borrow courage from one another. So the encouragement from this pause is clear. A person who feels small is still allowed to think slowly, even when a rich voice is waiting on the other side of the desk. The one who grew up in a village inside city still carries sense that counts, even under chandelier light. Before signing, nodding, or agreeing, he or she can pause long enough to ask, what is being asked in return? Who will I become if I accept this? If Kunle manages to keep both his hunger for change and his awareness of risk, he stands a better chance of stepping into a future that will not crush him later. The same is true for any listener in crowded city, quiet suburb, or far village. Hope is not foolish. It simply needs the steady hand of wisdom walking beside it. Hope stays. 2 days later, the mansion hums differently. A quiet excitement runs through the corridors. Even Madam's complaints sound lighter. The staff whisper that Olga will be traveling soon. Big men travel the way ordinary people breathe, without notice, without apology. But Kunle senses something else hiding behind the news, a private plan threading its way toward him. That evening, the cook hands him a clean uniform still smelling of starch. Olga said he should look neat, she murmurs, eyes curious. Maybe promotion. Kunle laughs softly. Promotion from houseboy to what? Deputy broom. The cook chuckles, shaking her head. He jokes now, but favor can climb a fence. By sunset, the air is heavy with coming rain. He stands outside the study door again, heart kicking his ribs. Come, the billionaire's voice calls. Inside, the lights are dimmer, golden like late evening in dry season. The man sits behind the desk, a file open, a cup of steaming tea beside him. That same soft outline hides his face, but tonight there's warmth in the shadow. Sit, Kunle. He obeys quickly. The billionaire slides a brown envelope across the table. Open it. Inside lies a folded letter on expensive paper. The crest at the top bears a foreign university's emblem. Beneath, printed words blur under his widening eyes. Admission offer, International Youth Fellowship, South Africa campus. He stares, blinking. Sir, is this mistake? No mistake, the man replies. It is scholarship, full sponsorship. He leaves in 2 weeks. Kunle's hands tremble. 2 weeks, but sir, his mother, his sister. The billionaire lifts a hand. His mother will receive monthly allowance, already arranged. His sister will move to better school. She will have everything he could not give. Tears press behind Kunle's eyes. Sir, this is too much. Too much is relative, the man says calmly. He earned it. He covers his mouth, overwhelmed. Thank you, sir, God will. Leave God out of this, the billionaire interrupts gently. Just study well. When he returns, his life will not fit into the clothes of yesterday. Kunle nods, dazed. Somewhere deep inside, a small unease stirs, but gratitude drowns it. 2 weeks vanish in a storm of errands and preparations. Madam gifts him a wristwatch. The driver buys him cheap sunglasses for a broad sun, and the cook slips roasted groundnuts into his pocket for luck. Even the guard shakes his hand solemnly. On the morning of his departure, Lagos wakes to rain, the same kind that once soaked their leaking roof back in the village side of the city. He stands by the car as staff gather under umbrellas. The billionaire is not there, only his personal assistant, a polite man with eyes like glass beads. Auga said he should not worry, the assistant says, handing him a sealed envelope. Inside are his tickets and instructions. Auga sends blessings. Kunle bows, holding back tears. He wants to see the man one last time to say thank you properly, but the assistant's tone leaves no room for questions. The car engine starts. As it pulls away, the mansion fades behind misted windows. Kunle wipes his face, smiling through the blur. For the first time, he believes the world is shifting in his favor. South Africa is colder than any Harmattan morning he remembers. The campus sits on a hill, tall buildings rising like dreams. Everything smells of polish and distance. At first, homesickness sits on his chest like a sleeping cat, heavy but silent. Then classes begin and days run fast. He studies hard, joins community service clubs, and learns to eat meals that look like art and cost enough to feed his old street for a week. Every month, a foreign account sends his allowance. Every message from home begins with his mother's prayers and ends with his sister's school report. Everything seems perfect. But perfection starts to whisper odd things. One evening, while searching his email for a project brief, he finds a message with no sender. Subject line, Memory Checkpoint 7 passed. Inside, nothing but his own photograph. Him smiling at a school event, captioned, he adapts quickly. Subject stable. A shiver climbs his spine. He deletes it instantly, blaming hackers. Yet 3 days later, another arrives. Continue observation. No contact with base until stage 3. He stares at the screen until the dorm light flickers. Something feels wrong, but explaining it aloud would sound like madness. At night, dreams come, strange flashes of a room full of glass tubes and faint humming, his own reflection split in mirrors. He wakes sweating, whispering his mother's name, but her face feels blurred in his mind, like a photograph left too long in sun. Months slide by. He grows popular, sharper, but parts of his memory begin to fray. He forgets the cook's face, the guard's laughter, even the smell of roasted groundnuts she gave him. Each forgotten piece feels like dust slipping through his fingers. During a psychology lecture, the professor speaks about memory manipulation. He jokes about ethical erasure. The room laughs, but Kunle's stomach tightens. After class, he asks quietly, "Sir, is it possible for someone to make another person forget?" The professor smiles. "Possible. My boy, with enough money, even dreams can be edited." That night, Kunle calls home. The voice on the other end says, "Hello," but something in the tone feels slightly off. "Mama," he asks. "Yes, who is this?" His hand trembles. "It's Kunle, your son." Silence, then a polite laugh. "Sorry, wrong number." The line cuts. He dials again, heart pounding, but the number no longer connects. In panic, he emails the billionaire's office. No reply. He calls the assistant, line unreachable. Days pass. He stops sleeping. Each morning, more memories vanish. He cannot recall his sister's school name. He cannot remember the color of his father's grave. One evening, walking back from class, he notices a black car parked by the hostel gate. Its tinted window rolls down slightly. A voice he knows too well drifts out, calm as ever. "He should get in." Kunle freezes. "Sir." The silhouette inside nods. He has done well. Now it is time for phase 2. Fear and relief wrestle in his chest. Against every scream of instinct, he opens the door and slides in. The car moves silently through dark streets, city lights sliding over the glass. The billionaire's profile is faint beside him, face still blurred by shadow. "He studied well," the man says. "He is ready for greater responsibility." "Sir," Kunle whispers, "he doesn't understand what is happening. His family," he called them, and "They are fine," the billionaire interrupts. Memory takes adjustment. Forgetting pain is gift, not curse. Kunle's pulse races. Why is he forgetting everything? "Because," the man says, turning his unseen face toward him, "everything he was would only slow what he must become." The car turns into a long private driveway, lights stretching ahead like quiet promises. In the rearview mirror, the city disappears completely. The car glides into a walled compound lit by soft blue lamps. Buildings rise on both sides, modern, cold, and silent. Kunle steps out slowly, eyes adjusting. The air smells faintly of metal and disinfectant. Inside the main building, security guards in gray uniforms stand like shadows carved from concrete. None speak. The billionaire walks ahead, voice steady. This is one of his companies, a research division, private. He will rest here for a while. Kunle nods dumbly, clutching his small bag. His mind spins. "Sir, his family, he—" "They are fine," the man replies. "He must stop worrying. Worry is noise." They enter a sleek corridor humming with low electricity. Doors slide open without touch. Behind glass walls, white-coated technicians move quietly around screens and silver machines. Something about their precision unnerves him. It's not hospital work, it's observation. The billionaire leads him into a spacious room. A bed, a desk, a large mirror, everything spotless. "This will be his space," the man says. "He will rest, then he will meet the others." "The others, sir?" The billionaire's head tilts slightly, as if listening to distant music. "He will see." He leaves without another word. The door seals shut behind him. Kunle stands there, heart loud in the stillness. He touches the mirror, it feels too cold. Beneath its surface, faint red lights blink like tiny eyes. He steps back quickly. That night he cannot sleep. He thinks of his mother humming by firelight, of his sister's thin laughter, of street sellers shouting yam prices. But the memories scatter like frightened birds. He digs his nails into his palms, whispering, "He will not forget. He will not." A hiss interrupts him, the door sliding open. A young woman in a nurse's uniform enters, carrying a tray. Her accent sounds East African. "Evening, sir. Dinner." He almost laughs. "Sir, he is not a sir." She smiles faintly. "Everyone here is sir." "What place is this?" he asks. "Research retreat," she answers softly, setting down the food. "He should eat. It helps with the transition." "Transition to what?" But she only bows slightly and leaves. Kunle eats a few bites. The food tastes fine, but a dull warmth crawls up his throat after each mouthful. Within minutes, sleep drags him down like deep water. When he wakes, the lights are different. Morning or something like it. He feels rested yet strange, like someone tried to rearrange his dreams. The mirror hums faintly. He steps closer and sees a small panel glowing at its base. Cognitive sync, 98%. Panic punches through his chest. He pounds on the door until his knuckles burn. No response. Then a voice fills the room, the billionaire's, calm and amplified. He should relax. Change always feels like loss at first. Sir, what are they doing? Kunle shouts. Improving him, the voice replies. He agreed when he accepted the scholarship. Every agreement has terms. He stumbles back. He never signed for this. The voice stays gentle. He signed every month. Each allowance transfer carried a confirmation. He pressed accept. He just never read the small print. Kunle's head spins. He wants his life back. A pause, then. He has a better one waiting. Memory only holds him hostage. The speakers click off. Silence falls again. Hours later, the door opens. 2 attendants escort him down the corridor to another room, a lab filled with soft white light. The billionaire waits by a table covered in holographic screens. For the first time, his face is visible partially. The features are ordinary, almost disappointingly human except for the eyes. They are too calm, too knowing. Sit, he says. Kunle sits because defiance feels pointless. Do you know why he was chosen? The billionaire asks. He doesn't know anything anymore, Kunle mutters. You were chosen, the man continues, ignoring the protest, because he adapts without complaint, because he is grateful even in chains. Gratitude is the best foundation for control. The words cut through him, so all the gifts were steps, the billionaire says. He needed hope to walk forward willingly. Anger breaks through fear. You used him. The man's smile is small. He says used as if use is evil. Everything uses something. Fire uses wood. Society uses labor. He will use memory. What does he want from him? The billionaire gestures to a glowing screen showing brain scans. Perfection. People forget pain naturally, but not completely. My research removes the rest, creates loyal minds free from regret, guilt, distraction. He is proof it works. Kunle's breath comes fast. He's not experiment. Not anymore, the man says. He is success. He stands, tapping the screen. Soon he will help train others. He will teach new subjects how to forget faster. Something inside Kunle snaps. He lunges up, shoving the chair aside. He will never do that. The guards move instantly, but the billionaire lifts a hand. Let him speak. Kunle's voice shakes. He may be poor, sir, but he remembers love. He remembers where he comes from. Do you? The man interrupts softly. Describe your village, your mother's face, your sister's voice. The challenge lands like a blow. He opens his mouth and nothing comes. His mind searches frantically, but details slide away. Images blur, colors melt. Only emptiness answers. The billionaire watches calmly. See, freedom, pain erased, gratitude preserved, the perfect servant. Kunle collapses back into the chair, shaking his head. No, he can't forget everything. The man nods to the guards. Take him to observation. Phase 3 begins tonight. They drag him through another door, down a corridor that smells of rain and metal. As they pass a glass chamber, he glimpses other figures inside. Men and women seated before glowing mirrors, faces blank, eyes vacant. For one terrifying second, he thinks he recognizes the cook's laughter in one woman's soft hum. The guards push him into a new room. A faint hum fills the air. Machines blink. He feels cold bands closing around his wrists. Then through the intercom, the billionaire's voice returns. He should rest. Tomorrow, the past will trouble him no more. As darkness rises, one stubborn fragment of memory refuses to die. His mother's hand on his forehead, whispering, "Remember who you are, even when the world gives you another name." He clings to it until sleep swallows the rest. 3 years crawl past before Kunle wakes again to the full brightness of morning sun, not the sterile white of the laboratory but real light, heavy with dust and sound. He sits up slowly, disoriented. A window stands open beside the bed. Through it comes the voice of Lagos, horns, distant laughter, a hawker calling, "Hey, bread, hot one." The ordinary chaos hits him like perfume from an old lover. He's in a small flat, sparsely furnished but livable. A digital assistant on the nightstand flashes. Welcome back, phase complete. His head throbs with faint memories, white corridors, glowing mirrors, a voice teaching him to forget. Yet other fragments have slipped back, small rebellions in his mind. His mother's red wrapper, his sister counting coins by candlelight, the smell of rain on zinc roof. The doorbell buzzes. A woman's voice calls softly, "Mr. Cunnell, breakfast delivery." He opens the door. The woman, middle-aged with careful eyes, hands him a tray. "Olga said he should eat and rest. Meeting later." "Olga," Cunnell repeats. She nods toward the street. Black car outside. The same black car, always. He eats little, watching rain streak the window. When the car horn sounds, he follows, heart uneasy. Inside sits the billionaire, unaged, expression hidden behind tinted glasses. "He looks well," he says. "Memory stable." Cunlay answers slowly. "Some things returned." "Good," the man murmurs. "Selective memory makes strong men. Too much past breeds hesitation." They drive through the city. Billboards flash his own face, polished, smiling, dressed in suit. Beneath, bold letters read, "Cunlay Adeyemi Foundation for Youth Transformation." He stares. "Sir, this is him." "You," the billionaire corrects. "You are success story, inspiration, the boy who rose from nothing." Cunnell laughs bitterly. "Nothing, you erased him." The man's smile doesn't move. People don't care for truth, they need symbol. At a hotel conference hall, reporters wait. The billionaire stays behind as aides usher Cunnell into a flood of camera lights. Microphones thrust toward him, voices calling questions. How did he achieve so much? What message does he have for African youth? He hears his own mouth speak smooth words he doesn't remember learning. He believes every young person can be remade. Forget pain. Focus on future. Applause, cameras flash. Behind them, through tinted glass, the billionaire watches, face still a mystery. After the event, Cunlay slips away to the restroom, chest tight. He splashes water on his face. In the mirror, for a heartbeat, he sees not his reflection but another, himself as a younger boy, holding a bucket, laughing beside a woman in red wrapper. He grips the sink until the image fades. He leaves the hotel through the service exit, ignoring calls from aides. Outside, the city air is thick with life. He walks aimlessly until he reaches Aju-Ligba Bridge, where danfos scream and children chase tires. Every smell and shout tugs at the edges of his mind. He buys roasted corn from an old woman. "How much, mama?" he asks. She peers at him. Cunlay, Cunlay from Adio's yard." He freezes. He knows her. The woman squints closer. He's grown, but she knows those eyes. His mother used to sell akara here before she. "Before she what?" he blurts. "Before she died, my son. Years back. We told Tati, your sister, to leave Lagos for Ibadan after the landlord trouble." His chest goes hollow. Tati, the name tastes new and familiar at once. The woman touches his arm gently. "She used to pray for you every Friday, said her brother would return rich." He thanks her weakly and walks away. The city tilts around him. That night he doesn't go back to the flat. He wanders until dawn, thinking, piecing broken memory shards together. The next morning a call comes from an unknown number. The same calm voice speaks. "He ran away," the billionaire says. "That was not wise." "Sir," Cunlay replies quietly, "he remembers now." "That is temporary. Memory erases itself when not fed." "Then he'll keep feeding it," Cunlay says. "He'll find his sister, he'll tell the truth." The billionaire chuckles softly. "Truth. People like stories better. You are story. They will never believe otherwise." Cunlay ends the call, breathing hard. He sells the wristwatch Madam once gave him and takes a night bus to Ibadan. 2 days later he finds her, Tati, grown, teaching in a small community school. When she sees him, she stares, then cries without sound, clinging to him. The touch breaks something sealed inside. Floods of memory rush back, games under mango tree, their mother's laughter, firelight stories. He stays with her a week, peace begins to stitch itself slowly. Then one morning a package arrives with no sender. Inside, a small tablet already powered on. A video plays, the billionaire standing in a dark room. "You think you escaped," he says, voice calm. "But you carry my work in you. The program is permanent. Memory will fade again. In 6 months you won't even remember this warning. Come back before then, or lose everything, even her." The screen goes black. Titi touches his arm. "Brother, what is this?" He smiles faintly, tears bright. "Maybe nothing, maybe test." That night he writes her a letter explaining everything and hides it under her pillow. At dawn, he leaves quietly for Lagos. He returns to the mansion, walking through the same gate where he once polished floors. The guards stiffen but let him through when he says his name. The system still recognizes him. Inside, the billionaire waits in the same study, sunlight cutting gold stripes across the desk. "He came back," the man says. "Good, he finally understands purpose." Kunle shakes his head. "He understands that you fear memory. You build cages called opportunities." The man sighs. "He is emotional again, we can fix that." "No," Kunle says, stepping closer. "He can fix you." He drops a flash drive onto the desk. Recordings he found in the flat, data logs of every experiment, every erased name. "For every mind you took, sir, there will be witness," he says. For the first time, the billionaire's composure cracks. He won't survive this. Kunle smiles sadly. "Maybe not, but the truth will." Outside, sirens rise, the sound of approaching cars, of new morning. By the time the sirens reach the compound gate, the billionaire has already pressed a hidden switch beneath his desk. The floor vibrates softly. Metal shutters begin descending over the windows. Guards rush in, but Kunle stands calm, flash drive still in his hand. "They will not touch him," the billionaire says, voice cold. "He belongs here." Kunle looks around at the men, expressionless, trained, their eyes unsure. "He doesn't belong anywhere that memory is stolen," he replies. "He came to end this." Outside, the sirens swell. The mansion lights flicker. Through the curtains of dust and alarm. Uniformed officers burst through the main door, shouting warnings. The guards hesitate. Authority, even when bought, always carries risk. The billionaire steps forward, face half illuminated. "He thinks he can expose me," he says evenly. "They worship him now, but when the lights go off, their faith will follow their fear." Kunle's hands shake, but his voice steadies. He gave them hope built on lies that never lasts. He slides the flash drive across the desk toward the nearest officer. Everything is here: contracts, recordings, test files, all the people he used, even himself. The officer glances at the billionaire, uncertain. "Sir, is this true?" The billionaire's mouth twitches. Half-truths, edited noise. This boy doesn't even remember his own past. "Maybe," Kunle says quietly, "but memory grows roots where fear cannot dig." The words hang heavy in the room. For a moment, no one moves. Then one guard lowers his weapon. Another follows. Within seconds, the air changes. Power leaks out of the billionaire's control like air from a punctured tire. He looks around, disbelief breaking through years of composure. "He will regret this," he hisses. "He thinks the world loves truth. They don't. They only love the man who tells it with confidence." "Then he'll speak with confidence," Kunle answers. 2 officers move to escort the billionaire out. He doesn't resist, just looks back once, voice soft but sharp. "Without me, you have no story." Kunle meets his gaze. He is the story. They lead the man away. The mansion, suddenly stripped of its arrogance, feels hollow, just furniture and echoes. When the cars drive off, Kunle walks slowly to the open doorway. The rain has started again, soft, cleansing. It smells like his village, like beginnings. He steps outside. Cameramen wait at the gate. Somehow the media has arrived. Someone shouts, "Kunle, over here." Flashes pop. He shields his eyes but doesn't hide. Later that week, the news runs everywhere. Faceless Billionaire arrested in human experiment scandal. Commentators argue, hashtags trend, politicians distance themselves. But what captures people most is the photograph of Kunle standing barefoot on wet marble, face turned toward the storm. For the first time, the world sees his eyes, clear, steady, alive. He moves back to Ibadan quietly after the noise dies down. The house he rents for himself and Tati is small but full of laughter. She still teaches. He starts a community center, simple and open, where he tells young people to ask questions before signing anything that smells like miracle. At night, when power fails, they light a lantern, and he sits by the window writing his story longhand. The memories come and go like tides, but enough stays. When fog rises, he repeats his mother's words under his breath. Remember who you are, even when the world gives you another name. Months later, a letter arrives, no address, no signature. Inside, a single sentence: forgetfulness is mercy, memory is punishment. He smiles sadly, folds it, and tosses it into the fire. "No, sir," he whispers, "memory is freedom." Outside, children chase each other under the streetlight, their laughter loud as thunder. Tati calls from the kitchen, "Brother Kunle, come eat before it gets cold." He stands stretching. The city hums beyond their walls, restless but alive. Before turning in for the night, he glances at the small plaque on the center's wall, a gift from one of the volunteers. It reads, "To every forgotten soul, your memory is a map home." He traces the letters with his fingers and nods. Somewhere in the dark, an old channel's voice echoes from a neighbor's radio. "Hello guys, welcome to African Billionaire channel. Today's story reminds us, some gifts are chains, some chains are lessons, and every lesson can lead home." Kunle chuckles softly. They got that one right. He turns off the lantern. The room fills with the quiet sound of rain, the kind that doesn't destroy but heals, washing the city clean, one rooftop at a time.